Ikoramogia juang gi osiepe wa mamoko. Have you ever wondered how certain homesteads only intermarried with certain homesteads? That was a widely practiced aspect of our culture. There were 3 ways that this happened. But even before we get into those 3 ways, allow me to touch briefly on Kodhi. Kodhi simply means seed. The seed carrier is the man. But the intelligence of the elder, what use was a good seed if it is sowed in bad soil? This is what I mean. If we take the seed of theft and we paired it with the seed of leadership, we are going to get leaders who steal. The intelligence of the elders was always to pair a seed with their corresponding equal. So if we have the seed of leadership, we would pair it with the seed of business. If we had the seed of fishermen, we were pairing it with the seed of hard work. That is how elders ensured continuity of good stock in their clan. That was widely practiced because seed in Luo culture, Kodhi, is more than just a seed. In Luo culture, Kodhi simply means genes, the genetic construction, the encoding that embedded your seed. That is what it's called Kodhi. There is no use pairing good seed in bad soil. That will always give us to calamity. The elders in their intelligence, they had in place these 3 powerful mechanisms that always worked. Mechanism number 1. Nyombo by gamruok. This was diplomatic. Gamruok simply means that we would go and have diplomatic ties with the clans that we have identified, the good genes, the good traits that we wanted. Remember, you could be a man having good seed, but good seed in bad soil did not help. So the elders ensured we would send emissaries far and wide to interrogate and to look out for the good seeds. Classic example is the story of Abraham in Biblos, where Abraham sent an emissary to go back to the land of his wife to get a wife for the son. That was a classic example. That one, as Luo community, we always carry that. Nyombo by gamruok. Mechanism number 2, Nyombo by Monjruok. Monjruok simply means raids. The Luo community conducted numerous raids. We raided our neighboring communities. They raided us back. A classic example, in my clan, my great-great-great-grandmother came from Jokisise. That explains the brown pigmentation that I bear, because this pigmentation was taken from Jokisise. My elders in traditional times raided Jokisises because they needed a trait that we didn't have, but that trait existed in Jokisise. So when we raided Jokisise, we didn't only take one, we take all the girls, and to that explains why you will find certain communities, they married specifically from a certain community. The third one, and this is the most interesting, tero kuon. Have you ever heard of tero kuon? Most of us know tero buru, but very few of us know tero kuon. Tero kuon was part of the marriage arrangement. Remember, in Luo times, marriage is an entire institution. Marriage was not an event. This was an institution made up of very many moving pieces. One of the pieces is called tero kuon. This is what tero kuon means. Once we had settled with, we wanted that girl in that community, but we have also recognized that in that community, there are other good girls. What we did was this. After paying their year, customarily, after the year has been paid, then this community that has received their year, it is our duty to go and entertain our in-laws. The way we would do that is 1 week after receiving their year or 2 weeks after receiving their year, then we would be preparing. Newa tedo, that is where the phrase ngane oditedo, awino oditedo, that is what it means. That as we went to entertain them, they would survey you cook. That is where the phrase Neodhi Tedo came from. That after the payment of the dowry, then after 2 weeks, we would go and entertain our in-laws for 1 or 2 months. During this time, the young men who are not married would also survey the ones that caught their eyes. And after surveying the ones that caught their eyes, then they would lead to other subsequent marriages within the clan. In so doing, this clan uniquely married into that clan. And that was the intermarriage that was brought about by tero kuon. In my clan, majority of the women that were married in the subset, my own mother came to Jokanyada as a function of tero kuon. My mom tero kuon, and then for some strange reason, she caught the eye of my father, and my father ended up marrying her. That is how it was done. That in order for us to ensure that we had that intermarriage, that harmonious and peaceful coexistence, we had tero kuon. Have you ever heard of the practice of tero kuon before? Tero kuon is a long gone practice that ensured harmonious intermarriage. We wanted to ensure that the girl we have gotten knows how to cook. And in cooking, she would cook for the entire clan under the tero kuon. Her and her cousins and all her sisters would come, and they would entertain their in-laws for 1 or 2 months. During this time, a lot of intermingling would happen, and that is how we ended up with this clan marrying specifically from that clan. Have you ever heard of tero kuon? Dhoudi, making learning language simpler.